Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and today I'm joined by Hannah from Hannah's Games to talk about her and her business and her story. So firstly, Hannah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. And yeah, for anyone who's watching who hasn't come across you before, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, well, thanks. I've never been interviewed on YouTube before, so this is all very exciting for me. My name's Hannah. I'm from Plymouth in the beautiful West Country, and I run a little games business, not like internet games and stuff. My business does little card games. So I'll just lean out. So can you see that?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Our little handheld card games. That basically you go out maybe on a night out, or my current range is my Christmas range. So you might put them in a Christmas stocking, or you might have them on Christmas Day, or anything like that. So yeah,
like staff parties, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I've got some ones as well. That I might put one in the post to you actually, David.
My staff party is me on my own. It does need some livening up, to be honest. But
I'm not sure about those kind of parties. I don't go for those kind of things.
Okay, for anyone who hasn't met Hannah, this is pretty much, she set this tone already about how this is going to go.
Yeah, switch off now.
Because we actually met, was it back in May for the Amazon Academy?
Was it March? March, I think.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but yeah, it was. I remember you telling me the story about how, because you had hen party games then.
That's my, this is my hen party games as well.
Yep. And you were telling me how a load of cards fell out of your bag on the train.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Can I say that story?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I was on the train from Plymouth to Manchester, and I thought, I'm going to do some work on this 6-hour journey. So I was trying to be very professional. Yes, I'm working away, very busy train full of busy people. And then basically someone came to sit next to me and I picked up my bag and a load of my products fell on the floor, and there, gazing up at me in this really, really busy carriage, is this game saying phone sex. Massive letters. And I was just like, okay. I just picked it up and put it back in my bag and acted as if yeah.
People sat around you going, well, she's got an interesting line of work.
Yeah, exactly. So, maybe people thought I do provide games on Christmas parties at that point. But yeah, it was a charades game.
All right, okay.
Hen party charades. That's what that was for. And that's one of the things you have to act out, which obviously would be very funny to have to try and act out as a charade. So yeah, but it was, that was, that's the kind of thing that happens when you, hen parties are your living, I'm afraid.
I loved it. I love that story. So to sort of rewind it a little bit, where did you, how did you get started? What did you do before you started Hannah's Games as a business?
Okay, so I'm a teacher, actually. So I'm a teacher by trade, and I loved being a teacher. But after doing the job for a year, I was struck down by an illness called Crohn's disease, which is a bowel illness. So I was 22, I was single, I was struck down with a very embarrassing illness, and I had nothing to do. And so I just didn't know what to do. I was actually in Wales at that point because I didn't have any family nearby in Plymouth that could look after me. And I was at my aunt's house in Wales, so I had no mates around. I couldn't go out, I couldn't do anything. I was recovering from surgery, and I just couldn't watch daytime telly. So I just had a go at putting some stuff on eBay, and I'm a bit of even as a teacher, I was a bit of a nutter. I used to kind of do things my own way. So I used to teach English and drama, and I could never teach someone else's lesson plan. And I hated being in boring lessons. So
you weren't the sort of, I'm going to read from the book kind of teacher?
Oh my God, no. You are more likely to be stood on the desk.
Why were you at my school? God.
Yeah, I was well, but you couldn't have too many of me because I was a bit of a nutter. I was one of those teachers that just, I just used to do whatever it took to get the kids to learn. And I loved that. I was pretty strict, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
People didn't mess with me. But I loved being around the kids, and I really missed it. And when you work in a big secondary school, you have 300 interactions a day easily, and then I'm on my own thinking, oh my God, no one's ever going to fancy me, I've got this really embarrassing disease, what am I going to do, the world's over. Just to say, I do have a husband now, Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know,
so
don't start
honest.
sending Hannah letters. It's fine. Yeah.
And so I basically decided to play about on eBay, and I put some of my aunt's clothes on, which didn't sell. And then I thought I'd have a go at putting some of my teaching resources on, because all my teaching resources are quite unique because, as I say, I'm mad. And they sold. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I just felt this like validation, because I didn't know if I could return to the classroom and all this kind of thing. And it just felt great. And I used to do it by automatic download.
Yep.
So this is like 2005. And
Yep.
I know now everyone's like, oh yeah, automatic download, yeah, big deal. In 2005, it was quite innovative and exciting.
Yeah, not many were doing it, for sure.
Yeah, particularly for teachers. So I used to use a service called eJunkie, and it had just begun, eJunkie, like, you know, and it was just the guy who's called Robin. And because he was the only guy that used to work for it, you know, I used to have this like relationship with the guy, and I'd be like, oh, this isn't working. He'd be like, oh, what game's that, Hannah? And what resource is that? And then so I made good money, actually. And you know, my pay started to run out because I've been off for a long time. But you know, I made enough money to keep going, and it wasn't about the money. It was more about how it made me feel, and how it made me feel that I wasn't just like some loser who was going to be ill all the time.
Yeah.
And then I got better, as well as you can get with Crohn's disease. And so I went back to work. Bye bye, don't need you any more business. That was fun, and off I went. Went back to work, got promoted. I worked with young people with special needs and attachment, people with safeguarding issues. So I used to kind of deal with like really troubled kids.
Heavy stuff, yeah.
Yeah, really heavy stuff, actually. It was really fulfilling, and I loved it, and I loved the work I could do for those kids and those families, actually, because when you work with those kind of young people, you work with their families as much.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then I was ill again, so I had to have another operation. And I thought, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to watch Jeremy Kyle. I'm going to go online and see what's there. And you weren't allowed to sell downloads anymore on eBay. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? And I was in that period of my life where everyone has hen parties. So I always turn up with a game. Okay, so if you invite me for anything, I will turn up with some sort of game. It might be like a printed game, or it might be should we try and do this, or should we do a taste test, or whatever. I'm that awful.
You're that friend.
That friend, or former friend. No, I'm that friend. That's why we don't invite her. So I had all these Hindu games on my computer, and different Hindus, and I used to know exactly the kind of girls that were going and the kind of games. So some games would be rude, some games would be clean, some games would be funny, some games would be physical. So I just thought, well, I went online and I saw that there was a niche on eBay for selling hen party games, and just literally, you know, print it out from your computer and locked up using a guillotine.
Yep.
Those kind of games. And I thought my games were better. Sorry, ego is an issue of mine. So I thought I'll have a go. And so I bought myself a ream of pink paper and printed a few out and put them on eBay, because I knew how to do that from Hannah's Resources, my first game. And they sold again. And it was great, because I was just recovering from an operation again. And when you've had an abdominal operation, like, it's quite hard to walk and hold yourself up straight, because like,
you're very limited, aren't you, to what you can do.
You don't realize how much you use those abdominal muscles until you can't use them. And we've got a post box just at the end of the road, and I used to like print them out, put a stamp on them, and I'd walk so slowly. It was like, it was ridiculous how slowly I would like carrying my envelope. Put it in and walk back.
But it got you out of the house, I guess.
You know, and that is something that people don't realize, because actually, you know, you can get really down when you're ill, and you're like, oh well, you know what, it doesn't matter if I go out of the house, because no one will care. You know, it doesn't matter. And actually it did matter, and it was lovely, because even though I couldn't go on hen nights and all this kind of thing at the time because I was ill, you know, I was getting all these lovely feedbacks, and that's one of the things I really like about eBay. That you do get these feedbacks from people, and everyone was just going, oh my God, we had such a great time. And then I had people like emailing me going, have you got any more? And I was like, well, yeah, actually, you know. And then I started creating games for it. And then it was the summer of 2012, which was the Olympics. And we had tickets for the beach volleyball. Guess who bought those? My husband.
He has great taste, I imagine.
We went to see the beach volleyball. And then yes, and we also did a trip to Italy, a 2-week trip to southern Italy, all paid for by
the games.
And so then I went back to work, and it was all and I carried on my job, which I loved. Yeah, so went back to work. Then something wonderful happened. I had a baby, and sorry, just
no, it's fine.
sorry, just telling people to be quiet in the background because
it's fine. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, it's very real, very real. And I had a baby. It was wonderful. Didn't think I could have a baby because I'd had 2 bowel operations, which is, as I say, is bad for you and all these kind of things. Went to go back to work, obviously. I had started a little bit of Games for Hens in the background just to keep me going while I've been on maternity leave.
Yeah.
Nothing major because obviously I was on maternity leave, but it was nice because it just meant that I could do whatever I wanted on maternity leave. I didn't have to kind of be going, oh, what am I, have I got enough money to do that? So that was nice. And then I tried to go back to work. Shouldn't be a problem. I was, I'm going to be ahead by the time I'm 40. I'm, professionally successful, tra-la-la. And I have to be careful how I put this.
Oh, yeah, we are live. I cannot edit this out, Hannah.
Yeah. So how do I put it? Right. My attractiveness as an employee had fallen significantly with me having a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully you could.
That is very diplomatically put, and it's a fucking disgrace, to put it lightly.
You might think that, but I couldn't possibly comment. So luckily, I was very supported outside of teaching, but basically, I through my work with kids with special needs and kids who've have really, really difficult backgrounds, I just spent my career looking after kids whose parents, for whatever reason, a lot of them very good, haven't been able to look after their own children properly.
Yeah.
And that's not a judgment on them. That
No, not so. Some people's circumstances can be way beyond their control in certain times. So
there's been so many kids that I've wanted to just pick up and take home with me.
Mm-hmm.
So often in my career, and I just thought, what, I want to be able to be with my son. I want to be able. I couldn't. There's no way I could be a stay-at-home mum. It wouldn't for me. It wouldn't stimulate me enough. I'd go. Yeah. I'd struggle with that because of the type of my personality. But I wanted to work part time. Not massive. I still wanted to work. I wanted to work more than be at home. But that was not an option that was available to me. It was suggested to me that I could just hand in my career and go back to just being a main scale teacher. I was like, well, I kind of spent 12 years getting to quite a senior post, and I'm still.
Why would you go backwards? Yeah,
exactly. Just because I'm a woman and I've had a baby. So
how dare you?
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't need people to do that to keep race going.
Yeah.
So basically, I had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
So I went proper gaga. And because I just couldn't choose. I couldn't choose between being a mum and having a fulfilling career. I just didn't. It never even occurred to me. I shouldn't have to choose. I shouldn't have had to choose. But actually, the fact that I'd had these 2 previous experiences with starting a business made me think, maybe I don't need to choose. Maybe I don't need someone else's validation. Maybe I don't need someone else to tell me that it's okay or it's not okay. Or and I was a team leader. I had mums within my team.
Yep.
And I've seen them not being supported. I would hope not by me, but And I think actually, and there are pressures on workplace, and I thought, what? I don't want to be part of that.
No.
I want to be able to mix my own life and my business life, and I think that those things do match. I think that
they're not mutually exclusive in any way.
Thank you. Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. So as I say, I had a nervous breakdown. I had a lot of counselling and a lot of medication.
Self-medication? Or?
It was great. Loads of medication. And I came out the other side, and I'm so pleased actually where I am. Basically, my Hindu games kept me going, both put through my illness. I'm just like the queen of embarrassing illnesses. Basically, I've talked about mental illness, which isn't cool. I've talked about bowel disease, that's not cool. Talked about phone sex, you can leave.
I brought that up, yeah.
So now I would say I work full time, but I don't. I work part time. I work Monday, Wednesday, and half day on a Friday. On Games for Hens, which is now Hannah's Games.
Yep.
Because I won an eBay award.
Don't ruin it. We're coming on to that in a minute.
Sorry.
Don't worry. We're telling a story, Hannah. We don't want to get to the crescendo too soon. But we'll get there. So
don't peak too early.
Sounds like something from one of your games.
I know. I'm going to write that down.
But so obviously that whole thing with the school, and I remember you've told me this story before. I just think it's one worth sharing. And I think such an important point there. You don't need validation from them to determine your own success, but also, like you said, about mutual exclusivity. You should be able to be a mum and have a professional career all at the same time. Half the population cannot be mums on gender issues, but then there's also a whole host of other people who are women who cannot be mums also for a whole host of
I
other
was
reasons.
One of those people. I was one of those people. Looking back, I was, as I say, I was very well promoted for my age and actually for my gender within that school. And actually, I think that's because they thought I wouldn't have children.
Right.
So I got myself to a nice, lovely senior post.
Yeah.
And then, what do you mean you're pregnant? What do you mean? We don't have people up the duff in this job. No. Yes, you do, because here I am. So, and I'm in a better position for it.
Absolutely.
The stresses and strains on that job, it would have been hard. I would have done it, and I would have done it well, I like to think. But I am much better able to be a great mum, I hope, to my son. And I can make choices to put my son first, or put other important things like family and things like that. Like, that's the joy of running your own business, isn't it? That I can put things first that are important to me.
Absolutely.
And I can bend around. Like, the weather was really nice yesterday morning, so we all went off and did the Gruffalo Trail at Haldon Forest by Exeter, and we had a great time. You know, and actually, I'm like,
and no guilt, no have to ring the boss, pull a sickie.
No, but my boss is really understanding now.
Better than mine. But yeah, so what I want to touch on now is, obviously, how did you find that transition from, obviously, the career, you sort of saying, well, that's fuck that up. So enough of that. We're going to go full steam ahead with Hannah's Games. How do you scale from what you've had was sort of like a part-time sort of side business, or it's like a side hustle, to your main income? How did you scale? How did you go about that?
Okay. So the first thing is, I don't earn as much money as I did when I was in teaching. And I think it's
funny, isn't it? Because as soon as people hear that you run your own business, everybody thinks you're like an instant millionaire for some strange reason.
No, I'm not. But I'm comfortable, I can get by. And most people, I think, when they have kids, lose all their money anyway. So it seems to be that I'm like, oh.
It's what I've heard.
I've got different priorities anyway, so money isn't as important to me. But I was a senior leader in a school, so I was well remunerated for what I did. Yeah. And so first thing is I earn less money. Secondly is I expanded onto other channels. So I'm an eBay person. I really get eBay. I understand it. I know how all the ins and outs of it works. I feel really comfortable on eBay. I know how it works. Yep. Excuse me. So I expanded onto Amazon, which was a huge learning curve. It was a huge learning curve. I really thought I knew online business. I really thought there was kind of like a similarity to it, which of course there is.
There is, yeah, but they are also very different.
Yeah, and actually I found the different types of customers.
Oh, very much so.
Totally different people, because I shop on eBay and Amazon. Yeah. And obviously I think if you've ever sold on them, like other than kind of like selling your old boots or whatever, like secondhand stuff, I think you see them differently anyway. So quite often I'll be sat there and I'll be shopping something and I think, oh God, that's a really good product photo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness, this is terrible.
I'll tell you an interesting
Could be
thing.
selling more than this.
Yeah, an interesting thing that I was chatting to Matt again about the other day was how, obviously, having sold on both platforms before, I now, if ever I buy something on eBay, I always leave feedback. Buy something on Amazon, never leave feedback. But because I know how much that feedback means to the seller, I leave the feedback on eBay.
Exactly. And I think, but that's, I don't know, I do find that eBay is more community.
Yes, very much so.
And I like that. I'm like a people person, so I like the community of eBay. Whereas I find Amazon's more like a megalith, you know, it's like massive and you're just a tiny part of it.
And I think as well with the customers on Amazon, most of the time they just presume they're buying from Amazon anyway. You don't even know that there's third parties who are actually selling the items in the background. They just think, oh yeah, I'm buying it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's how Amazon look at it as well. They technically see you as supplying for their customer.
Yeah.
Whereas eBay, it's your customer. You sort of have that much more of that relationship.
Yeah. And I think like, I agree with that. Although now I'm massively outselling eBay. Like Amazon is I sell a huge amount on Amazon.
Yeah.
Which I can talk about, like the small and light thing that I.
Oh yeah.
Should I talk about that now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about small and light, because I think, again, for anyone who does sell on Amazon may have come across this similar issue before, and this was at the Amazon Academy back in March, May, whenever it was. This was a big thing that you actually managed to speak to Amazon face to face about this issue.
It was great, actually. Right. So if I reach down, so this is one of my products. Okay.
Yep.
And if you can see, it's pretty small.
Yep. Fit in an envelope.
Tiny little thing. Okay. It will fit into an envelope. It fits inside a purse. That's why I've designed it like that. And basically you open it up and it's got all the games inside it. One of the issues I have is everyone was going, oh yeah, you should sell on Fulfilled by Amazon.
Yep.
So I was like, oh great, let's do that. And have you ever like ordered from Amazon and you order something small and it comes in like a massive box?
Yes. Filled with lots of paper.
I know why that is, because there's a big machine at Amazon. It's not measured by a person, it's measured by a machine, okay? And the machine can't deal with things which are a small... So this is light and it's small, which is a real problem for the Amazon machine. And so basically it was saying, it was receiving my thing, it was going into the machine, it was going and not being very accurate about it.
Yeah.
And saying that this had to be shipped as a small parcel. Okay, which is like that. Now I send the second class large letter. It cost me something like 70p or something. It's free postage. Get that
in there, yeah.
I swallow that. You get the anyway. And Amazon went basically, no, it's a small parcel. And they're going, no, it's not. Look at the dimensions, it's not. And they were going, no, the computer says this is what size it is. And it was Kafkaesque, to be literary for a moment. It was ridiculous. It was like I was just pushed from pillar to post. And what I did was at the Amazon Academy, they would have, when I get annoyed and get a bee in my bonnet, I was
like, okay, I'm going to go stand over here.
I'm quite a ferocious woman. And I basically metaphorically pinned them to the ground. And I had these in my hand and I kept putting them in people's hand and going, how would you post that? How would you post that? And I got the senior guy from Amazon, and he basically, to get rid of me, gave me an Amazon account manager who told me about Small and Light, which is a different version of Small and Light, which I've got a bit more information about since. Basically, Small and Light can't be any bigger than large letter, which is like A4 and 2.5 centimeters. So like a Grays box. Yeah. Those kind of things. They're all sent large letter. And it has to be less. When I first started, it had to be less than $6.99. Had to be less than $7.99. Now to send this on Amazon Small and Light, because it's its own warehouse. It's actually the Love Film warehouse.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. I used to deal with DVDs. Yeah, makes sense.
So they've replaced all the DVDs with my products. Bless them. Probably they're like, oh my god, more of those bloody games. So it gets sent out by them, and I pay something ridiculous like 56 pence.
Wow.
Because they're doing an introductory rate. So if you've got small things which are you know, low price,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. It is more complicated to enroll them, and if I hadn't have had an Amazon account manager, I wouldn't have to know how to do it. You have to copy the product, then you have to upload something by CSV.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that are available by standard FBA aren't available on Small and Light. But for example, a lightning deal on Small and Light, on standard FBA, I think you have to pay £25.
Yeah.
On Small and Light is free.
Nice.
So lots of the things are free because they're trying to get more sellers onto it.
Brilliant.
And that has been a total game changer for me. The only difference in fulfillment is it's not next working day, it's 2 working days delivery for free for Prime. But it works so well for my particular.
Do you still get the Prime logo next to the item?
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Prime thing. It just, the date it says for delivery is.
Yeah.
Once it's one of those things that now you're going to start looking for it. Next time you buy something small off Amazon, if you notice that the date isn't the next exactly the next day and it's before the cut-off time.
From Hannah's warehouse. Got you.
Yeah. Lights, hashtag Hannah's games. And so I sell through those now. It is absolutely brilliant. They hand measure your first time use, so they will get a ruler. A person does it. There's only limited capacity in the warehouse, so they have to have the right products and they have to shift. So there's no like warehouse,
no storage stuff.
No, they just don't store. They just don't store it, and you have to have a minimum quantity to send in. But it has been absolutely transformational for me. So my Christmas games, which are going in at the moment, or they're on there at the moment, they're just flying out the door through because of Small and Light, because people like Prime, people like Amazon.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. Have you got any sort of Black Friday, Christmassy deals lined up?
I do, yes. So I've got a few, my Christmas games. I wanted to get some bundles set up to send off, because I do sell Christmas bundles as well. They're doing all right on Amazon. But to sell on Small and Light, you have to have a minimum 3-star rating on that product. You have to have had a certain number of sales. There's quite high.
Got some.
Like I say, it's got to sell. So like I can randomly create a product on Friday, send it off to FBA on Monday. They don't care because they'll just charge me to store it. Small and Light, they want a record of high sales before. So I wasn't quick enough for that. Another thing to get better at for next year. But I've got individual games going on. My husband is literally just about to take a massive box of games up to the UPS place to drop them off. So we've got some Black Friday. I'm wondering about how it's going to work on other channels, because I've got this eBay concierge now, and they were saying to me that eBay really notices Black Friday as well, and you get kind of like a boost on all your channels. They
do. eBay just don't make as much of a song and dance about it as Amazon do. But could be big for you for sure.
Because I've got my Christmas games, so I'm hoping hopefully they're just at the right time to peak. I hope. I've had Woucher on the phone.
Oh, brilliant!
Woucher phoned me up, and I'm such a loser teacher. I don't even really know what Woucher is. So they're like phoning me up, and I know I'm so sad. But basically, when you're a teacher, everyone thinks you're sad anyway, so you just kind of like embrace it. So basically, I've got this phone call and I'm like, hi, and she's like, yeah, Victoria from Woucher, and I was like, yeah. Hi.
Who?
Like, are you in India? Are you trying to sell me SEO? She's like, no, we're from Woucher, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I mentioned it to a few people. I was like, oh yeah, Woucher on the phone today, and they're like, wow.
Sure, yeah, Woucher. Yeah. No, it is. That's really cool. So how did they find you?
I don't even know. I think they found me through the thing we're not talking about yet.
All right, okay. Well, right, before we get on to the thing that we're not talking yet.
Oh, hello, you still there?
I'm still here. Can you see me?
I might need a charger.
Oh dear.
We're okay. I have a wonderful member of staff who I married.
No.
I married him before he became my staff. Don't put me on the list.
Just in case there's any sort of HR issues here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what was the question I had? So I think this is one worth mentioning, and it's about work-life balance.
Yes.
So you said before how you now are not paid as well as you were as a teacher, but are you happier now doing what you do?
Oh my God, I cannot believe how happy I am. And there's a lot of things that I was only ever a teacher, so I don't have any kind of
so you could compare it to
experience, really. I suppose I did a year working in purchasing, but that doesn't really count. And when you're a teacher, it's like, yes, you get a lot of holiday, but you and all my friends are teachers, and I see it. And basically, you just deteriorate as the term goes on. Like, I would never do anything during the week.
Yeah.
Because I would be exhausted, or
you'd be marking books or whatever else would be good.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would be doing all of those things, and I know that sounds like a cliche, and I was like, "Oh, I work really hard," and I'm like,
"Yeah, but you get like loads of holidays."
Yeah, and you work like 9 till 3. Oh my god. I'm like, you come to work with me, mate. You come and follow me around for a day. But anyway, that's fine. You know, different people have different challenges. I've never wanted any sympathy for being a teacher. But there's a lack of flexibility in your life. So yes, you get 12 weeks holiday a year, which is amazing, but you don't get to choose when you have it.
No.
And that is a huge
when
thing.
The prices for everything are much higher than they normally are.
Yeah, and it's not just the prices, because obviously the nice thing is that when you're a teacher, you can take the slow boat to China or whatever, because you've got 6 weeks. You know, it's not I can only take one day off. I'll pay for an expensive weekend away in Barcelona. Teachers don't do that. We tend to go away for long periods of time. You know, you can get the ferry. You can go on a Wednesday instead of a Saturday because you haven't got to be back at work. So there's ways around those things. But when you are at your lowest, or when you're dealing with something like, particularly as I say, I have a health condition, chronic health condition, I'll have it for the rest of my life. Like if I'm not feeling well, I have to go to work. You know, I can't say, you know what, I just need a couple of days, or, you know, you've got a lot on, or your friend's going through a crisis, or, you know, whatever's going on in your life, you know, something happens to your cat or whatever, you know, you have no flexibility in your life. There is an expectation. And the other thing I do think is unhealthy about schools is when you work in a normal workplace, you didn't get my bit. When you work in a normal workplace, you have different like everyone's in different phases. So you might come back from 2 weeks holiday and I'll still be grinding away and bored at work, but at least I get to come back and hear about your holiday. But we all go down together. We're all like, oh my god, how many weeks does it have done? We're all tired. We're all, and I think that is unhealthy. And I love the freedom of it. So I'm quite creative and crafty and stuff. So I was asked to be a godmother to my friend's
lovely.
Thank you, Ollie. And I said I'd make the christening cake. And I was sat there and I was thinking, oh my god, why have I agreed to do that?
Can't even make cake.
I'm going to have time to do that. I'm like, I'll just take the day. Take the day. I like, you know, and that I know as like a woman in my 30s, it sounds ridiculous that didn't occur to me, but that's what normal people do. You just go, oh, it's okay. I'll just take a day's holiday to do that, and I'll, you know, put arrangements in place. And I find that amazing. And as I'm now a mother, obviously I can't compare my being a mother life to my teaching life, because obviously
of course,
do it at the same time. But I find I am so much more relaxed.
Yes.
I am so much more relaxed, even though I'm constantly stressing about how many orders I have and
of course
the next shipment off the Vico and printing the next thing, and whether I should be doing more on social media. Brackets, yes, I should.
Brackets, yes, you should.
Yeah, I know I should. But I'm going to do it. I am.
Or we could get someone else to do it for you.
Yes, that's what I need to be doing. Yeah. You're right. Anyway, why are you making me feel guilty? God.
sorry.
You are right. You are right.
But that's I find that was perhaps I mean, I still get it now. I feel like, for example, last Friday here in Manchester, the weather was great, so I went and played golf in the afternoon, and basically I came back and then I worked from like 4 till 9 or 10 at night, just because I can move things now. Whereas if, you know, in a previous workplace, I'd be looking out the window going, God, look at that. And then by the time I get home, especially now the clocks have gone back, it'll be dark. So it is that work-life balance is definitely something which a lot of people, everybody puts a price on, it puts an emphasis on money, but not enough people put it on time, I don't think.
Absolutely. And you know what, my health is better.
Oh, absolutely. I bet it's
better. And I'm part of the East Cornwall and West Devon Crohn's and colitis group. And we do like a live once a month, and we go live on Facebook. And I would never have done that when I was teaching. I would never have been able to get myself together and get myself out and do all these things. And it's great, you know, I sit there with a glass of wine and talk to people. And I just think, you know what? I'm in a theatre company. I've always, you know, I'm a drama teacher, so I always kind of do drama through work.
Drama.
But I love it. You know,
Yeah.
I love being in a theatre company. And I think you do need, when you work for yourself, I do think it is important to have other things outside of your work, because you don't have that, like you joked that, you know, you're going to be on your own for your Christmas do. But
Yeah.
I bet you've got other things that keep you, like, I bet you've got kind of like other things that get you out and make sure that you do things, because it's not healthy to just sit in your house. And
That was, for me, that was the biggest problem that I had for about the first 2 or 3 years of running my own business. My hobby was work. And literally, it wasn't healthy. My weight went up more to the highest it's ever been. I was unhealthy. I used to just literally sit at a computer 12, 15 hours a day, every day, just trying to make things happen. And it's, like I say, it's not good for you at all. And that's why now, you know, I golf, I try and just go to the gym, whatever it is. And like I said, having that time flexibility, putting processes in place for the business so that it doesn't all come crashing down if I'm not around. If an email comes in that, you know, doesn't get answered for a few hours, it's not the end of the world.
No.
You know, and having that realization, again, took me a while. You got it sorted from early. You know, you figured that one out earlier than I did.
But I had to make that decision about my career. So
Yes.
I had to make the decision about what was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was forced into that.
So what do you do on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I do work, but I never plan anything on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Brilliant.
So generally, I have two good friends that my son is friends with. They're children, I should say.
Yep.
And on a Tuesday morning, I usually see my friend Michelle. And then on a Thursday morning, I normally see my friend Melanie. And we'll go out and we do things like, we've got a great trampoline club here in Plymouth. So the kids love that. So we go onto that. We have a coffee. We have an amazing aquarium here in Plymouth, as you might expect. Today's a beautiful day. I'm looking out the windows, I'm chatting to you. And we have loads of lovely beaches here in Plymouth.
You're not stuck for things to do.
Oh no! So we've got a pebble beach quite close to us, and my son just loves throwing stones in the water. I've got a Labrador, and you know what? I just get out. I go out, and I do like to go out and, as I say, meet up with friends and stuff. So the kids play, and then we natter and drink coffee. I'm a tea wasted. Yeah, no. But generally, I love it. You know, and I love that that's my life. And it's quite funny because last week was half term, which I didn't even realise was half term.
I know.
Very odd for me. And as I say, I wanted to go to this Gruffalo trail with my son. And I was going to go last Tuesday, and I thought, oh no, it'd be full of people. I don't want to go when the schools are out. And I'm like, God, I've only been out teaching such a short amount of time, and already it's totally changed. And I mean, like, this time next year, I'm going to be looking at primary schools for my son.
Wow.
And I just think, you know what?
Enjoy your time with him now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to do that. And that's so important to me. And like I say, you know, I was really worried because I say loads of my friends are teachers. And I was really worried because, of course, they're all going to be off. And in the summer, everyone has parties on like a Wednesday night and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you do when you're in education, because that's what August is.
That's what we can do.
Then what the hell am I going to do? August is going to be hideous. And you know what? It wasn't. Because what happens when you're a teacher is generally you run out of money at about the 5th of August. And then you're like basically trying to do things on the cheap, but still having a really great time. So it was great because I could just move stuff around. Like you say, I'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to go out to so-and-so's because they're having a barbecue. We won't be back till 2 in the morning. Well, I'll just, you know, make a note to my outsourced wonderful team members and let them know to keep things going till 10.
Yeah.
You know, or I'd move around, or yes, I generally work on a Tuesday, or, you know, I generally have Thursday. I call them my Seb days. My son's called Sebastian. And I call them my Seb days. And but I can just move them around. You know, I can just swap them around and go, oh, we'll do this, and I love it. And like I say, there is no price on that freedom and that ability. And actually, if you're feeling a bit crap, you know, if it's just all going a bit wrong, like at the moment, we are currently changing our bathroom, which is a complete nightmare because. But you know what? basically, I needed to do the floor tiling. My son had chicken pox. It was a complete nightmare. So I just took a day. You know, I took the time and I didn't need to sit there and think, oh my goodness, what will my boss think? What will the rest of my team think?
Yep.
And you know, I do have this wonderful team in the Philippines, or 2 people. I have a team. A bit of an exaggeration.
We'll go with team. Team works.
We'll go with team.
Team Hannah.
We call ourselves a team. You know, they're so wonderful, and they're, you know, oh, you know, is Sebastian okay? And please don't worry about it. And I've done this, this, and this to clear your schedule. And you know what? People are brilliant. Let people be brilliant. And I think if more bosses in traditional, you know, workplaces as well went, just let people be brilliant. Let them do it.
Let them do what they're good at doing.
Free people up to do what you're good at, and the world would be, you know, you'd have a lot happier people, I think.
Absolutely. And I think that's perhaps one of the most powerful things that you've said. And I think I always say this to people, it's like you've got time and you've got money. And when people say time is money, I would argue it's not. Time is worth more than money. You can always make more money, but you can never get time back. And I think it's fantastic that you take Seb days, because like I said, as soon as he goes to primary school, I mean, I've not got kids, but I know I've got my best man who at the wedding, his son has just gone to primary school this year. And he's like, I don't know where it's gone. He's literally just, before we know it, he's like this high and he's off to school. And I think you'll always remember the time that you spent with him on Seb days. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
And a
luxury which not many people get to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of think, and it feels like stolen time. It really does feel like stolen time. It feels like, oh, wow, I can go out and spend the day with my son.
Yeah.
As if it's great.
It's mad that is a luxury, really. But no, it's brilliant. So with that said, I think it's time to talk about the things that were not talked about.
Sorry.
And that is that you got some very good. In fact, I don't even know how this came about. You messaged me and went, Dave, this is top secret. I've won an award. I was like, how? How did this happen? So tell the story. Where did it start?
So, well, I told you my eBay story, obviously. And then I've even when I was back in teaching, I'd signed up for the Tame Bay, you know, lovely Tame Bay.
Yep.
I'd signed up for their newsletter, and I still got it even when I was in teaching. So I'd been on it since 2005, whatever. And they said, eBay are running this competition. They've never run a competition before. Tra-la-la-la. And it must have been July. So the school's just about to break up. And I'd taken my son to the park. My husband was with me. And I was just sat there, and I was meant to be working. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm meant to work, but I'm going to go and I'm going to sit on a blanket with a dog, and I'll just do some work. And I couldn't do any work because it was just so lovely sat on the park. Devonport Park is beautiful. You can see the sea from it. It was just a lovely place. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a go at entering that bloody award. I've got a story. My eBay story is a story. Like, basically, eBay is all these wonderful things is because of eBay, actually. And I know that sounds naff, but it is.
No, it's true. It's true, for sure.
And I know eBay's got its faults, and I will be the fact, and I could give you a list of all of eBay's faults. But actually, it's helped me get where I am today. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to enter. It's only 1,000 words. I'm an English teacher. I can write. 1,000 words.
I got this.
I can crack that out.
Yeah.
So I kind of sat there and I was just bimbling about with it. So I could, you know, and I thought, this is quite a nice story. And then my husband came back from the park, and my son, you know, from the actual play parky bit. I was like, what are you doing? I said, well, I thought I'd have a go at entering this award, because I went to a women in business thing. Plymouth, which is quite rare, which actually I'm not convinced that didn't come down to Plymouth, because I told off the Enterprise Nation people. Remember, I told them that they'd never come to the West Country, and they went, yes, we do. We go to Bristol. To which
that's really far north.
Nothing annoys me more than when people call Bristol the West Country. I'm like, Bristol is not the West Country. That's the north to me. Okay, Bristol north. And so basically, in May, end of May, so 2 months later, they announced that they were coming to Plymouth. So they came down. This lady did a talk and basically said, enter awards. If you want PR and you want positive PR, enter awards. And I'm like, I haven't got anything to say. I sell bloody bits of cards, you know, to like bawdy hen parties. No one's going to have it. And I thought, oh, it's eBay. Let's give it a go. So I filled this thing out, and it sat on my computer. it was like the day before, and I got a little, my Tame Bay email going, oh, last day tomorrow for eBay. And my husband was like, bloody do it. Just bloody do it. It'll only take you 10 minutes to polish it up. It took me about an hour to polish it up. But I sent it off, didn't hear a thing. Just didn't hear anything. Didn't think anything of it. Completely forgot I'd entered, really. I went for a meeting I've got like a business advisor from Southwest Growth Hub. And I've just been to see him, and I was in the car driving away, and I saw a number I didn't recognise. I pulled over, and I went, hello, and they went, hi, it's Ben from eBay. And I was thinking, oh, for God's sake, what have I done now?
Don't tell me I'm suspended, Ben.
Like, this must be really bad, because you phoned me. In all my years of selling on eBay, the buggers have never phoned me. And he went, I just wanted to let you know that you've won. And I was like, what? And he said, well, you haven't won. You're a finalist you won our category for being an inspirational business leader. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he kind of said, I was like, you're joking. And he said, yeah, so you've won £1,000. You've won a year of eBay concierge, a year of Anchor subscription. We're going to invite you to eBay headquarters for a tour and to meet the team and to see Rob, who's the
Rob Petrell, the VP. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. See, you know better than me. I'm gonna know his name. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you'll know Rob. He's a nice guy, from what I've heard. I've never met him. Yeah.
Good. So, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh my God. And he said, but you can't tell anyone. And I was like, I am not a good person to tell secrets to. So basically, everyone got told, but everyone got told it was a secret. So,
I didn't tell anyone. I'm going to throw that out there. I didn't tell anyone.
They said, don't put it on social media. I was like, don't worry, mate.
Yeah, it's like a swear word to me. I don't really do much on social.
No fear of that, mate. And then it came through, and I didn't win the inspirational business leader because there isn't an inspirational business leader category apparently. Because I won the Be Your Own Boss award.
Right.
So so the winners got £5,000 and got to go to America, which would be very lovely. But I just feel like it's a real recognition.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm just a little. It made me feel like really like I do feel like I'm just playing at business. Like if we were having a conversation about education, I would really know what I'm talking about. I do know education. I understand it. I know all kinds of stuff about education, which is very boring. But I don't really know anything about business, really, or at least that's how I feel about myself. And you've been so lovely to me. You've been very supportive. You interviewed me and stuff, which is great. But I've always thought, I don't really know what I'm doing.
I think you're being too modest, really.
That's really good, but that is how I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like imposter syndrome in a way.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I think it is. And I read a lot of business books because English teacher.
Love a book
about it. Got to read a book about it. And it just feels like I don't know that I'm okay and I'm doing it. You know, when I first kind of went into business, there was a lot of people who were going, yes, she's still having a nervous breakdown.
All right, Hannah, we'll come back when you're fixed.
More drugs for her, please. More drugs. Send her to more counselling, please. And I kind of feel like there's a few people who've gone, maybe she can do it. And I don't know, I think maybe one of those people might be me.
Absolutely. Well, you should. Yeah. Because if eBay has turned around and you've won the award, you were saying before about having the validation from school. Well, now you've got all the validation that you need that you're actually killing this. You are doing well. You are running a successful online business, and whilst it may feel, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just due to modesty that you've sort of played it. That's what we all do. We all none of us know what we're doing. Nobody ever teaches us, goes, right, you're going to set up a business and it's going to do this. You basically just try stuff, throw stuff at the wall and see what works, and just do more of the stuff that works. Yeah. And that's exactly what you've done. And like I said, for eBay to notice that, and I've certainly noticed it, and it pat on the back to you 100%.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, and so from that, I decided that I'm gonna properly throw my back into this, because in the back of my mind I've always thought I'll just go and do supply. In the back of my mind, I'm like, if it all goes wrong, I'll just go and do supply. It's fine. I can pay the bills. I'll just go and do supply. But that I will feel like such a failure if I have to do that. That's the one thing I didn't want to do, which was throw in all of my leadership experience to just go back to the classroom.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this has been a validation of it. So in the next year, I am bringing on 2 new sub brands.
Fantastic.
So that's probably, well, it's definitely going to be baby showers.
Right, yeah. They're definitely getting bigger here in the UK, aren't they?
Definitely. And possibly wedding table games as
Okay,
well.
that's cool.
I've also got some kind of minor ideas. Like my mates and I, we have a Eurovision party every year, so I make games for that. So I'm going to put those on as well. You can see it, can you? I can tell. You love it.
Yeah, Eurovision, not my thing.
You want to have one of
I tell you, I do love Graham Norton's sarcastic commentary.
Yeah.
Terry Wogan now going, I think it's brilliant, but oh god.
My bingo boards are an extension of that. They proper take the piss out of it. But yeah, so and I want to double my revenue this year. So those are and I want to do that on the back of the eBay award, because obviously I'm getting, wonderful things like being interviewed by you, and I've been interviewed by the Southwest Growth Hub, and lots of other things that are really, really great. And I kind of think, actually, I don't want to sit back and go, yeah, I've been recognised. I want to go, right, if I can do that, what else can I do?
Watch me go now. Yeah. Have
so
you been to the eBay headquarters yet, or
no? January.
All right, cool.
The date hasn't been set in stone yet because they're sorting out something to do with Rob's diary. But they were so wonderful. And I haven't spoken to them on the phone actually. It was by email.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, you're coming a really long way. And obviously we've read your thing. Would you like to bring your son with you?"
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that really thoughtful? Yeah. And I went, "No, I want a day off to go to
I'm going to get some drinks on the train, drinks in London.
I'm going to have a gin and tonic on the train." But I was just like, that is so thoughtful. I was really impressed by that. And I just thought, you know what? I like that. I can be an advocate for this business. I was quite impressed. So I'm hoping that I can go there and make more connections and stuff.
Absolutely. Because that's the big thing with eBay. eBay are much more, hi, we're eBay, open door, let's have a chat. I mean, I've had the pleasure of going down to Richmond a couple of times, and again, lovely people. Whereas Amazon, no, they're very much closed door, very insular. The fact you got an account manager was amazing.
Well, my account manager has changed departments.
Ah, right, yeah. Okay.
And I remember you telling me, you said basically you used to have a guy who you knew there.
Thomas. I still remember him now. Good old Thomas.
Yeah. Well, and I have got other, but I've been given a team to
okay,
rather than a person. And there's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a difference when someone who goes, and also, as I've said before, I'm like a very face-to-face person. I know I do online business, but I like talking to people, and I like people knowing me and me knowing them. And so it's different when you can, and someone's held your product in their hand and they know you and they can kind of like. So I'm not, but that's what happens. I'm just gonna have to go to another Amazon Academy and pick up
and just bully someone else into talking to you. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, basically, I'm going to be a pain until you give me what I want.
And I think that is another fantastic tip about how to succeed in business. Be damn well determined when you need to be.
I am a determined lady.
Yeah.
That's a really polite way of putting it. I think plenty of people would say that I'm a pain in the ass and rude, but that's fine. Yes, I'm determined.
Yeah, no, I love it. And again, I think you've got a fantastic story to tell. And thank you for sharing it with us. I am conscious about time. I don't take too much of your time up.
Thank you.
So with that said, the sort of last question, what one piece of advice would you give? This is the last but one question. What's the last piece of advice, or one piece of advice you would give to someone watching this right now who maybe wants to get started in sort of their entrepreneurial journey and is just sort of waiting to pull the trigger? They might have the idea, but they're just not sure if or when to pull the, to go for it or not.
Well, I always say go for it. But I don't just think that's about online business. I think that about everything.
About life.
I do. I just think, let's do it. Let's try it. Like you said, I'm probably quite similar to you, that I'm just like, what's the worst that can happen? We'll just work hard. We'll just make it happen. And I think I read over the summer, the 4-Hour Work Week.
Tim Ferriss, one of my favorite books.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's on my top 3 books of all time, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, I listen to quite a lot of Pat Flynn with the passive income.
Yeah, Pat Flynn, very good, cool guys. Or smart
Yeah,
passive
so
income.
I quite like to listen to other people, and so I get a lot of ideas from other people. But I think you've got to have. I think in this kind of very insular kind of business that working for yourself is, you have to believe that there's something worthwhile. So I'm there saying, oh yeah, well, I'm not really sure I'm worth it, but my products have proven it, and I think my
Yeah,
products have got me where I wanted, and they're my games.
yeah,
And I would suggest putting them on a marketplace. Um, Whatever your idea is, get it out there. If you don't sell it, it doesn't cost you anything.
yeah, exactly.
Get out there, and I'm assuming a product-based business, I suppose, because that's my
Mhm. Yeah,
experience.
of course, yeah.
But if I put a new product on Amazon, sorry, on eBay tomorrow, I can leave it there for a month, and
Hmm.
if no one buys it, no one's bought it. And if someone does, then you can build from it and just build from lots of little successes.
Yeah,
And would I like to earn, X millions of pounds a year and be very well off and all these other kind of things? Yes, I would. But that's not where I start from. That's not my win. Like, have a small win.
exactly.
Have a small win in mind. So what would it, if you sold 10 quid's worth of stuff, go and buy yourself a bottle of Prosecco and celebrate. If you don't, just think small, think
Yeah,
little things that you can,
little victories.
yeah, and just learn all the time.
Yeah,
And
for
just
sure.
learn all the time. And I think that's my
Yeah,
advice.
no, I love it. I think that absolutely right. If you, again, I say this to people all the time. If you fail, then you've learned something for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, we got loads of naff things like that in teaching.
Yeah.
First attempt in learning. There you go. That's the kind of naff poster you would have seen in my classroom.
All right, thanks for that, Hannah. Calling it enough. Never mind. There's another one I was going to say. I don't know. I've
On a
forgotten.
poster. On a poster. You're not naff, Dave. You're not.
So I guess my final question to you
Mhm.
is, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh my God.
I love this
Mm.
question because it catches people out all the time.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good question. I would like to be remembered as someone who is kind, thoughtful, and successful.
And what does success look like to you?
That's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose.
Absolutely.
For me, success probably. The thing is that it will probably change, and I could listen to this back
Oh, of course.
and
Yeah.
laugh about it. For me, at the moment, success is being able to being able to service the life I want to lead.
Absolutely.
And so I don't need, millions of pounds at the moment.
No.
I need time. I need, and I don't know, I think when you've been unwell, you do kind of realize the people who are there to look after you.
Yeah.
And when I felt very little about myself, when I was kind of like very unwell with my mental health, there were people that just constantly told me that I was worth something.
Hmm.
And I feel very much indebted to those people for believing in me when I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think actually success for me is being able to repay that and being
Yes.
able to make people know that they are important
Hmm.
to me. My husband, my friends, my
Yeah.
son, my dog.
Yeah.
And actually those kind of things are important to me. And if you'd asked me 5 years ago what success looked like, I'd go bin ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, being ahead, having my own school. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's success. And I think that is very easy to measure, and that is an easy answer. And I think mine's a little bit vague at the
No,
moment.
I like your answer for a number of reasons because I can totally 100% relate to it. And a friend of mine, Miles, he's been on the channel before. He actually shared something on Facebook the other day, which was like the new definition of a millionaire,
All
not
right.
someone who has £1 million, but someone who's helped 1 million people. And I
Yeah, I
love
like
that.
that.
And I thought, yeah, I can really get on board with that.
And I
But yeah,
do, and it's hard. One of the things that I find the hardest thing probably that I find about my success in online business versus my success in teaching is at the end of a day of teaching, I could sit there and say, I've taught this, I've taught that, I've
yeah,
worked with that family. And so my service and service is very important to me.
Of course, yeah.
But I have a different way of service now. I work through my charity. I do a lot of charity work, and there's different ways to be of service to people. And I worked with incredibly vulnerable people.
Yes.
For a very sustained period of time, and I do think I made an impact on them, and I do think I made an impact in that role. But actually, I also need to put me first as well.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
being and looking after me is part of being able to be of service to those people. And I'm not actually convinced that the way I was before I had Seb was sustainable anyway. Actually, looking back, and I am a kind of all or nothing person. And I think maybe it wasn't sustainable anyway. Maybe something would give anyway. So
yeah. Well, again, I just want to say, Hannah, first, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It's been fantastic to hear your story, and again, congratulations on the eBay award. Thoroughly well deserved. And I'm sure 2018 will have even more fantastic things lined up for you.
Thank you.
In fact, I think we should probably catch up again on the channel, maybe next year sometime, and find out what's going on.
That'd be lovely. Yes, please. Yeah. And I'll post a bit more on social media, I promise.
Yeah, please do. And what I'd also like is, again, for anyone who wants to check out Hannah's games, Hannah's websites, and links to social media, there's probably not much going on there right now, but keep an eye on it. I will keep prodding her.
I do have a free game.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically this is my Christmas light spy hunt game. So if you go to hannahsgames.co.uk/Dave.
Oh, I like that.
I've got a little freebie for you all. So you download the game, and then you can print it out. It's a good game. It's good fun. So you can play it at Christmas with like family and friends and stuff, or maybe go for a wander around the streets on Christmas Day. So yeah, hannahsgames.co.uk/Dave. And I'm at the NEC.
All right, when you're at the NEC, check
I'm
you
at the NEC on from the 16th to the 19th of November for the Christmas gift fair. And
Brilliant.
I'm absolutely shitting my pants about it. Come along. If you're there, please come along and just say hi. And please do that, because I can't believe I'm going there. It's a long way. Birmingham's
for you.
Not as far as Manchester.
Not as far as Manchester. I've still never been further south than London, really. So I keep. I know. You're technically in France to me. That's how far south you are.
God, I'm the softiest southerner you have ever met.
But next year, I do intend on making the journey down to your neck of the woods. So
yeah, we'll meet for a coffee.
Yes, I'll come and bother you for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so Hannah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, and have a fantastic Christmas. And again, check out Hannah's links in the description and the free game. I'm going to go and download that in a minute. I had no idea about this. Thank you again so much.
I know.
Just throwing that in there.
Freebies. We all love a freebie.
Absolutely, we all love a freebie. So again, if you watching this have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and check out Hannah's links down below. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.